famous gangsters in America. In 1 year, he robbed 20 banks, wounded 7 men, and murdered 3 others. He had a violent life and a violent death, so it shouldn't surprise any of us that his ghost is said to haunt the spot where he was killed.
SOBs Speakeasy is a restaurant in Crown Point, Indiana, about 50 miles south of Chicago. What makes it unique is that it was originally part of the Crown Point Jail. In 1934, the jail was the home of John Dillinger, public enemy number 1. While a squadron of guards patrolled the grounds, he sat in his cell planning his escape. After more than 50 years, it is said that his ghost still haunts the abandoned jail. Professional ghost hunter Richard Crow says that Dillinger was brought to Crown Point for security reasons.
Well, this was the seat of the county, and of course this was considered an escape-proof jail of that era. And Dillinger, who had quite a reputation of being able to escape from traps and escape from jails, had to be brought somewhere like this.
We've heard a lot of reports of this jail being haunted. Is any of that true?
The caretaker here has heard strange sounds at night. Of course, jails as a whole do usually have a reputation for being haunted places. You can imagine all the trauma that the prisoners would have gone through over the years. There must be an awful lot in the way of psychic impressions here in this jail. This was the most secure section of the jail. This is where the most hardened criminals would have been kept. People like John Dillinger. And this is Dillinger's cell.
Richard, were there any reports of John Dillinger's ghost actually inhabiting this cell?
Well, the sounds that have been heard here at night are quite curious because people have heard cell doors opening and slamming and a few footsteps. And there's nowhere to hide at night. And I've run off looking for them, and the nights I was here looking for the ghosts, found no one.
So what does that suggest?
That the ghost of John Dillinger may well be reenacting his last big event here at the Crown Point Jail before leaving the area for his last few months at large.
Dillinger's last big event was a daring escape from this allegedly escape-proof jail. Popular legend has it that he used a fake gun made of either wood or soap and blackened with shoe polish to capture and disarm several guards. Another theory is that Dillinger's lawyer bribed an Indiana judge into smuggling a real gun into the jail.
Richard, was Dillinger a big movie buff? Dillinger was into gangster movies, surprisingly enough, and of course here was Manhattan Melodrama, the gangster flick of the 1934 season.
Sure. The Biograph Theater on Chicago's North Side looks the same as it did the day it saw Dillinger's demise. This is such a public place. He must have been wanted all over the country. Why here?
As public enemy number 1, he knew he was being watched, and yet he flaunted it. And he showed up here on the north side of Chicago at the Biograph, and this was John Dillinger's last seat.
So, this is the alley where it all happened, huh?
This is Dillinger's alley where John Dillinger was gunned down after leaving the Biograph Theater.
Did he see the FBI when he came out?
The FBI were waiting here in the alley on a fire escape across the street. They closed in and shot Dillinger down right here in the mouth of the alley.
Now, there have been reports of people seeing Dillinger's image in here.
Dillinger's ghost is widely talked about here in the Lincoln Park area, and it's described as a bluish-gray, silhouette-shaped form that reenacts the last split seconds of life of the desperate man. The ghost comes running, is seen tripping, falling, hitting the pavement, just as John Dillinger did on that night 51 years ago.
In spite of the fatal shot, the Hoosier hoodlum ran into the alley, but fell with 2 more bullets searing into his body.
50 years after his death, John Dillinger's legend lives on. Tales of his crimes and daring have inspired many Hollywood movies, but they also make for a good old-fashioned ghost story or two.
There is evidence to prove that it wasn't Dillinger, but another man